Today we're going to be talking about service discovery, and this is a very important point for any software developer out there to understand. Service discovery is the process of detecting devices and services on a network. So let's say you have a bunch of microservices and you want to be able to detect all these microservices. So what you do is that you have to create a server. In this case, we'll create a Eureka server, and all these microservices will register themselves in this server here. So anytime one microservice want to connect to the other microservice, it has to look up to this Eureka server. And the moment it detects the other microservice, it will go ahead and connect through the IP address. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Now, the next step you also need to understand is that the customer and product microservice will register as client to the Eureka server. I have two microservices. I have customer and product microservice, and they will go ahead and register as clients to the Eureka server. If the customer wants to connect to product, it sends a discovery request message to Eureka server. Then the server grants permission and the request is sent to the product microservice. So let me just show you the project that I'm having right now. So here this is a Maven project. A Maven project means that we have a parent module, and inside this parent module, we'll have two sub modules. Now, this is the microservice that I'm talking about. So we have customer microservice and product microservice. So I have this point collection app, and this point collection app is a multi-module microservice. Okay. So as you can see, this is the parent microservice, and then we have customer and product as the sub modules inside the parent module. Okay. So we also have this parent module having pom.xml, and all these dependencies here are shared within the two microservice. Okay. So the first step that we need to do actually is to go straight to our parent module. Right click, go to new, create a module, and we're going to create a module, and we're going to call this Eureka server. So we are creating a Eureka server. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create. And then here we have this Eureka server here that has been already created. So we have this Eureka server here. If I go straight to the main if I go straight to the main starting point of our application, we have to change this to microservice. And I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this class. So I'll go refactor and then rename. And then I'm going to call this Eureka server, then application. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and refactor. So that will change the name of this class here. Then I'm going to go ahead and also delete this print out, this hello world. Then I'm going to go ahead and say Spring. I'm going to say Spring application because it's a Spring Boot application. So Spring application, Spring application dot run. Then inside here, I'm going to say Eureka server application dot class, and then I'll pass an argument here. So I'll pass this argument here, just like that. Then after that, up here, I will also go ahead and enable this with Spring Boot application. But we just want this application to act as a server. We don't want to connect this application to Postgres or database. So what I'm going to do is I'll just come and type exclude. Then I'm going to say data source configuration.class. So this one will exclude this microservice connecting to the Postgres or to connecting to database because I'm using Postgres as my database. So it's going to exclude that. So I'll go ahead and try and run this Spring Boot. So I'll click here. Then click on run. So as you can see, it's now running as a Spring Boot, but it's not connecting to the database, okay? It's not connecting to the database. So the next step I'll do is that I'll go down here and annotate this class with @enable Eureka Server. Enable Eureka Server, just like that. Then we have to go ahead and add this dependency here. So this is a Spring Cloud dependency. Actually, we are working with Spring Cloud. So I'll go ahead and add Maven dependency. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. So give it some time for it to add. So if you go to straight to pom.xml, you will find that we have this dependency here that has been added. Okay, Spring Cloud, Netflix, Eureka Server. So that means that this microservice is now, this Eureka microservice is now a server. Okay, so I'll go ahead and correct the syntax just like that. Then after adding this Eureka Server, so that means that now this here, I'll go ahead and import the class, and now this now acts as a server right now because we have already enabled Eureka Server. Then go straight to the resource here, and then I want you to create a file, and then this file is gonna be application dot YAML file. Actually, application dot YAML file. Spring application name is gonna be Eureka Server. So this is the name of the server. So it's Eureka Server. So we're gonna say Eureka client, register with Eureka, and it's gonna be false. Then the next one, fetch registry, is gonna also be false. So this means that we don't want this Eureka, because it's a microservice, don't forget. So we don't want this Eureka here, Eureka Server, to register itself in this in this server. Okay, so we are putting it as false. So register with Eureka as false. Fetch registry is also at false. Okay, so this means that, okay, the reason why we say Eureka client register with Eureka is false and fetch registry is false, because we don't want a case where this Eureka server, because it's a microservice, registering itself inside Eureka Server. So that's why we're putting it as false. Then the server will be, so the server port will be 87 and then 61. So that's the server. This is where the Eureka Server will be running at. Okay. So if I go ahead and start this Eureka Server, so I'm going to go ahead and start this Eureka Server and then click to run. So as you can see, now it's working as Eureka Server. So what I'll do is that I'll go straight to, I'll go straight here. Then I'm going to type local host 8761. So as you can see, the Eureka Server is up and running. So this is the Eureka Server, system status. So the applications actually will register themselves here. So it says no instance available here. So what we'll do next is that we'll go ahead and add some dependency that will help our microservices to register themselves as clients. Okay. And to do that, we have again to go to the main root folder. Okay. Then go to pom.xml. Okay. So if I click pom.xml, I can go ahead and add this dependency here. And this dependency will be shared among the customer and product. So there's no need of me writing the same dependency inside the customer microservice and also inside the product. So once I write this dependency in my parent module, which is the root folder, then that means that this dependency will go ahead and be used with customer and product. Okay, so I'll go ahead and say Spring Eureka. Actually, this is Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Eureka. Okay, and this comes from Spring Cloud. Okay, so if you go up here, we have this. If you go to management, dependency management, we have, make sure that you add this here, org.springframework.cloud, showing that you're working with Spring Cloud dependencies. And here where we have Spring, so we have, what do we have next? We have Spring Boot dependencies. This means that you're working with Spring Boot dependencies. Okay. And here, this shows that you're working with Spring Cloud. So go ahead and add this dependency here. Okay. So that this dependency will be able to work, because this is a Spring Cloud dependency. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and reload the dependencies. So then after that, I think I'll go ahead and start my product application. So I'll go ahead and start this application. Actually, what I have to do before I start, I'll have to stop all these applications. Okay. So what I'll do, the first thing you have to do is you have to start the server. So if I click on the server, it's going to go ahead and start. So once it starts, then I will go ahead and start this product application, and the product application will register itself automatically in Eureka Server, as you can see. So I've started it up. Good. Then I'll go ahead and check to see if it's registered itself. So I'll go ahead and reload. And as you can see, we have the first application, which is product, and this is the product port 8081, and this is the IP. Okay. So I'll go ahead and also start this customer here. So I'll click on customer. Great. Give it some time. So then I'll go back again to my Eureka server, and then I'm going to reload, and then you will see customer has already been registered here. So this is the API. Okay. And then this is the port, customer running at 8080, product running at 8081. So we have successfully managed to connect. Actually, what we have done is that we have successfully managed to connect customer microservice and product microservice to our server, Eureka server. Okay. If the video is useful, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.